Here was Donald Trump on Ukraine yesterday.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it to start off. No longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened. And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened. And his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened. But this would never have happened. And all those dead people, both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today.
Okay, and then Kaitlan Collins turned back to all the issues Republicans don't care about. So there was like a brief interlude where Trump was asked about those questions. There were no serious follow-ups. He was not asked to sort of dig down into what he meant by any of this stuff. All the serious questions, all the sort of adversarial stuff was reserved mainly for all the personal stuff, which again is the stuff that Republicans want to see Trump hit back on. And that all ended with Donald Trump basically doing what you knew Donald Trump was going to do. At a certain point, he just turned to Kaitlan Collins and to the hoots and applause of the crowd, called her a nasty person. Which, again, this is not new. It's not as though Donald Trump has never done this before. He did this to Megyn Kelly. He's done this to other moderators where he doesn't like the questions. But here he did it last night, and this was sort of the moment of the night.
You held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
To the hoots and laughter of the crowd. Again, it's like, this is why. Okay, again, Republicans like the guy because he says that sort of stuff. Specifically because he says that sort of stuff because they feel as though they're constantly being targeted by people like the people at CNN. And so that's how this thing finishes up. I mean, this is, again, big win. How big a win was this for Trump? It was such a big win that, I kid you not, the CNN town hall was slated for a 90-minute broadcast. The network expected the actual event to go 75. It went 70. They cut it early. The mercy rule applied. They needed to get Trump off the air because he was just beating Kaitlan Collins up so bad. Okay, we'll get to the fallout from all of this in just 1 second, because there's fallout for Democrats who are very upset with CNN and upset that Trump has had the spotlight. And then there's the fallout for Republicans because, again, anything that elevates Trump means it's more likely that he will be the nominee. So what does that actually look like in practice? Let's talk about how you can keep your dog healthy. So we have a wonderful doggy. His name is Happy. He's extremely cute. He's a Havanese. The kids love him. We want him to live a long, healthy, and happy life. And that's why we've started giving him rough greens every morning. It's the dog food that actually makes the dead food come back to life. Dog food you've been giving your dogs is dead. It has very little nutritional value. It's brown, it's dry, it's kind of gross. Green food helps your dog. Rough greens boost Happy's food back to life. It can do the same for your dog's food. You don't have to go out and buy new dog food. You just sprinkle some rough greens on their food every day. It contains all the necessary vitamins and minerals your dog isn't getting from their regular dog food. Happy likes the rough greens, makes him feel better. He's an energetic, fluffy, happy dog. Our kids love Happy. Rough Greens is the only supplement your dog will ask for by name. Rough Greens. You get it? It's a joke. Naturopathic doctor Dennis Black, the founder of Rough Greens, is so confident this product will improve your dog's health, he's offering my listeners a free Jumpstart trial bag. Head on over to freeroughgreens.com/Ben. Let Rough Greens bring your dog's food back to life. That's free, ruffgreens.com/Ben today, or call 833-MY-DOG-33. That's 833-MY-DOG-33. We'll get to more in just 1 second. First, you know what you haven't changed in a long time? Your underwear. Not like the pair you're wearing. I really, really hope that you've changed those recently. But I mean like the brand of underwear that you are wearing, or the pairs of underwear you have in your drawer. You've left those there for like the last 5 years, and now they have holes in them. You're like, oh, is it really worth the effort to get new? Yes, it's worth the effort to get new underwear if they are good. And this is why I recommend Tommy John underwear. Your life will become significantly better wearing Tommy John. Name a problem with any other underwear brand, Tommy John has solved it. Tommy John underwear is made with breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands. Designed to move with you, not against you, Tommy John underwear comes with a no-wedgie guarantee. Thanks to a non-rolling waistband and legs that never ride up. That no-wedgie guarantee would have helped me out a lot in high school. When you wear Tommy John, you're so much more comfortable. You can do everything better. They're incredibly durable. Go through the wash like 1,000 times. They're just as good as when they started. Really, really comfortable. With over 20 million pairs sold, people are raving about Tommy John. They don't just have customers, they have fanatics. Every purchase is backed by Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free guarantee. Get 20% off your first order at TommyJohn.com/Ben. That's 20% off at TommyJohn.com/Ben. TommyJohn.com/Ben. See site for details. There was big reaction to the town hall on CNN last night with Donald Trump and Kaitlan Collins. The Democratic camp broke into sort of two separate camps. In camp one are sort of the commentators who are very upset that Donald Trump was given this moment. Now, are they really upset, or are they kind of happy that Donald Trump is being elevated to the center of the discourse? I think the answer is there's some internal conflict over there. Joe Scarborough, who's had himself a very rich history with Donald Trump, including, you'll remember during 2016, hosting Donald Trump regularly on MSNBC, including to watch, various debates and involve himself in various events. And then he turned against him because Donald Trump was actually Hitler, which was weird because he was in the room with him 5 seconds ago. Well, now Joe Scarborough is comparing that town hall to January 6th, which I've been informed by reliable sources like Joe Scarborough was the worst thing ever to happen in the United States.
It was a disgraceful performance.
Yes.
I'm constantly telling people not to catastrophize over Trump, that he's actually going to lose because he keeps drilling down deeper and deeper into his base. But it is. I can't believe I'm going to use catastrophizing language here. But it was disgraceful on every level. What I saw last night, at least, was as chilling as anything I've seen on television since January the 6th.
Chilling, just chilling. And then there's a list of all the terrible, evil, very bad things that Donald Trump said that he puts up there, including the fact that he said that Kaitlan Collins is a nasty person. Just chilling, just absolutely chilling. Meanwhile, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, the irrepressibly stupid congresswoman from New York City, she tweeted out, CNN should be ashamed of themselves. They have lost total control of this town hall to again be manipulated into platforming election disinformation, defenses of January 6th, and a public attack on a sexual abuse victim. The audience is cheering him on and laughing at the host. This falls squarely on CNN. Everyone here saw exactly what was going to happen. Instead, they put a sexual abuse victim in harm's way for views. This was a choice to platform lies about the election and January 6th with no plan but to have their moderator interrupted without consequence. Now, again, of course that was going to happen because this program was directed at Democrats. That was the lie. If they directed it at Republicans, they wouldn't have asked him and spent time on any of this stuff. They would have asked about, things that Republicans care about. They didn't. Instead, they asked him about stuff that AOC cares about, and then she's unhappy that Donald Trump didn't crumble into a quivering ball of sadness in the corner crying to himself and rocking. Or maybe taking a picture of himself outside some sort of fence wearing a white outfit and weeping for the cameras. Like that. She's disappointed that Donald Trump was still Donald Trump, which is really funny. And meanwhile, you had the Daily Beast's Justin Baragona. He tweeted, immediate reaction from a CNN on-air personality to me just now on the CNN town hall. It's so bad. I was cautiously optimistic despite the criticism. It's awful. It's a Trump infomercial. We're going to get crushed. And that's true. There's a lot of blowback for CNN in all of this. Politico has an entire piece titled, How Trump Dominated CNN. They say the live studio audience ate it up. They cheered when he denied moderator Kaitlan Collins' factual assertion he took 3 hours to tell the January 6th rioters to go home. They applauded when he called E. Jean Carroll a whack job. They laughed when he called Collins nasty and questioned whether she understood what she was talking about. The night underscored how CNN has changed under the management of Chris Licht. Before the town hall began, CNN faced heavy criticism, but it's pretty clear that everybody was very angry. Does CNN count that as an in-kind campaign donation, asked Dan Rather? It was a complete disaster, one CNN employee told Playbook. It made it seem like CNN was endorsing that behavior, the employee said, incredibly disappointing. So on the one hand, you have the media, and they're beside themselves. Oh my God, we platformed together. How could we do that? It's so terrible. How could we do that? Oh no, it's just awful. On the other hand, there are the Democratic politicos. And let's be clear, the Democratic politicos, like the people who are interested in the 2024 election, not the posturing and preening of AOC, for example, the people who are actually up running against Donald Trump are very, very happy. Joe Biden tweeted out immediately after this happened, quote, it's simple, folks. Do you want 4 more years of that? If you don't, pitch into our campaign. His entire campaign relies on you thinking about Donald Trump 24/7, and in particular, thinking about the stuff that Kaitlan Collins was asking Trump about and that he seemed very warm to talk about. Right? If there's a confluence of interest between Donald Trump and CNN on the stuff that should be talked about in a Republican primary, namely E. Jean Carroll, missing documents, Trump organization foibles, January 6th, election rigging. If Trump wants to talk about that and CNN wants to talk about it, Trump wants to talk about it because he loves that stuff and he loves talking about himself and all the victimization routine that he does. He loves that stuff. It's his favorite thing to talk about. I mean, check Truth Social. It's what he does 80 to 90% of the time. And if CNN loves talking about it because it pleases the base and also elevates Trump, then the chances are very strong that Trump ends up the nominee And then meanwhile, when it comes to the actual election, it doesn't play all that great because this is what Democrats are begging for. They're openly doing it. Democrats want, you can vote for him. If you vote for him in a primary, he still has a shot at winning the general for sure. Because again, Joe Biden is a terrible president with a very low approval rating. But does Donald Trump run a greater risk of losing to Joe Biden than other candidates? Well, of course he does. He lost to him last time by 7 million votes in the popular vote. And aside from like some national polls showing him competitive with Biden in the early going, on a state-by-state level, the polls do not show Donald Trump winning a majority in places like Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan. Those are the actual stats that matter, by the way. And so CNN, counter to popular opinion, everybody got what they wanted last night. Instead of seeing everybody as sort of dissatisfied, we should see everybody as pretty satisfied. CNN's Chris Lick got the ratings and he elevated Trump. Trump got elevated and he got to shellac Kaitlan Collins. Kaitlan Collins got to stand up to Trump and appear to be a sort of heroine for doing so. Everybody got what they wanted, except for, the Republican primary voter who got the enjoyment of watching the slap fight on CNN, of watching the WWE slap fight, but no real answers on sort of the clarifying questions that might determine who you would vote for in a primary. Again, if you look at the polling data right now, probably 25 to 30% of the Republican base is set on Trump. Fine. But there's another 70% who might have wanted to hear some answers to those questions. None of those questions were even asked last night. And if you look at the data, there's a guy named Chris Wilson, who's the head of data for a group called Never Back Down. And he quotes, this is a DeSantis group, but he quotes a study from WPA Intel analyzing research. And what they found is that Trump probably cost Republicans in 2022 15 seats, 11 in the House and 4 in the Senate. And down ballot, he elevated Democrats. So, again, does that mean that Trump necessarily will lose? No. Is Trump wildly entertaining? Absolutely. I mean, there's no way to watch Trump last night on CNN and look away. You can't look away. Democrat, Republican, Independent, you can't look away. But that's the entire problem. If you are focused on Donald Trump, you know who you are not focused on. The old man in the White House who is directly running this country into the ground like a 747 at full speed, cutting the engines. I mean, it's an amazing thing. We have a border crisis, an economic crisis, a social crisis, and foreign policy crises, plural. And meanwhile, we're talking about Donald Trump and Eugene Carroll. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show continues right now. You're not going to want to miss it. We will get into a case made by New York Times columnists that Cleopatra was black, even though she clearly was not black. Plus, we'll get into the mailbag. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click that link in the description and join us.